Hi, Ekaterina Chalova here, and today I'd like to talk about another basic of Neurographica process, which is Neurographica Pattern, or conjoining the lines. It is an intellectual property of Psychology of Art Institute and Professor Pavel Piskarev, the inventor of Neurographica method. So what is it? When we draw Neurographica line, and this drawing is from our previous class, the lines naturally cross each other. Each line is a thought, and thoughts do tend to overlap, correct? So when the lines cross each other, they create a conflict. Why conflict? Is because triangle that is created as a result is perceived by our brain as something sharp, as something unwanted, really. If we think of old ages, the arrows, they all have sharp corners. So our brain doesn't like triangles that much, right? It gets in hyper mode. Therefore, for our program to be installed nicely and easily, and for our brain to avoid turning on the fight and flight scenarios, we harmonize the triangles that get created. What does harmonize mean? Harmonize mean that you put kind of a semicircle into the corner that is created. Yes, the circle is perceived by our brain as harmony, as something godly, as something nice and comfortable. And therefore, putting circles into the conflicting areas is the best way to harmonize them. Of course, we don't put the full circles in, we only put the semicircles to create the scenario of comfort, the scenario of harmony. This tells our brain that it is safe to install this program. And look, doesn't this look like a neuron connection? Very often in the drawings of my students, I see that rounding is done this way. Yes, it is easier. However, it is incorrect. It creates more conflict on the side. So you actually doubled up the conflict that you had created from the beginning. So make sure whenever you are rounding up, you are putting the semicircles in and not just a circle outside. Another technicality about conjoining process is that some students are in a rush, right? During Neurographica drawing, you might be going through different emotional processes and you want to quickly integrate your feelings, integrate your emotions. So very quickly you end up just rounding this way. But nothing happens. And why is that? Sure, you see this. These are new conflicts that have been created because the conjoining process was not done properly. So please make sure that when you are rounding up, you are not leaving any barbed wires behind. And it's okay if your lines are getting fatter or the actual conjoining part is really big. That's totally fine. If you look at the pictures of the brain, you can see that some connections are thicker, some connections are thinner. So it's totally perceived as a natural process by our brain. So if we take the actual Neurographic line and try to do it here, it will look like this. I have done something previously, but here if you do it together for a bit, again, please do not look at the fact that the lines might be thicker now or they might be standing out. It's okay. Once you complete the full process, it would all look unified and the brain will perceive it as one. Another important point of this conjoining process is that this rounding of the connections actually gives a message to our brain that this is one program. These are parts of one thought, of one idea. And in a 3D world, this is also one. Because our brain understands the 3D world, if you see these two lines, they are crossed. But if you look at the 3D, they are not. So the conjoining process gives the clue to our brain that these are connected, that they are not parallel to each other, they are not far apart, they are connected, they are one idea, they are one program to install to find a solution for our problem. So happy training, and I will see you in the next class. Have a good day.